Delaney.
And I'm Grace Deck.
And this is Today in History.
Today is November 5th, and now we're going to time travel back to Britain in 1605.
The gunpowder plot in Britain was discovered and stopped before it killed King James I and the members of Parliament. Just hours before the meeting, a man named Guy Fawkes was caught, and he revealed that the plan was an English Catholic plot to assassinate the Protestant king.
November 5th is still celebrated in England as Guy Fawkes Day, an anti-Catholic holiday during which people host bonfires and burn effigies of the Pope or Guy Fawkes in celebration of the plot's failure. In 1775, George Washington banned his troops from participating in the traditional celebration of Guy Fawkes Day because he was trying to negotiate an alliance with the French-Canadian Catholics to assist with the war effort.
In 1862, President Abraham Lincoln removed General McClellan from command of his army. Although McClellan had a promising beginning in his military career, he was too timid to defeat Lee, and he and the president had many disagreements. He was replaced with Ambrose Burnside after the battle at Sharpsburg.
Also in 1862, over 300 Santee Sioux Indians were sentenced to death by hanging as punishment for the Minnesota Uprising. During the uprising, they had attacked and taken hostage many Anglo settlers in response to their mistreatment. Lincoln later commuted all but 38 of them.
In 1895, George Selden patented the gas-powered car. He later sold his patent to the Electric Vehicle Company, who in turn sued any car company that built a gas-powered vehicle until they were defeated by Henry Ford in 1911.
In 1912, Democrat Woodrow Wilson swept the presidential election. His 435 electoral votes beat Republican William Howard Taft's 8 and Progressive Party candidate Theodore Roosevelt's 88. It is the only election in history in which two former presidents were defeated.
In 1913, actress Vivien Leigh was born. She is most famous for her leading role as Scarlett O'Hara in the classic Gone with the Wind.
Don't you want to marry me?
I'm going to marry Melanie.
But you can't, not if you care for me.
Oh, my dear, why must you make me say things that will hurt you? How can I make you understand?
In 1930, Sinclair Lewis was awarded a Nobel Prize in Literature for his novels about small-town life in the United States. He had previously turned down a Pulitzer Prize, but accepted the Nobel Prize, making him the first American to win the award.
In 1940, President Franklin D. Roosevelt was re-elected for a third term, the only president to serve for more than two. Ironically, his campaign focused on remaining neutral in foreign affairs, but war was declared in 1941 on Japan and later Germany.
In 1968, Republican Richard Nixon won the presidential election over Democratic Vice President Hubert Humphrey. It was one of the closest elections in history, as Nixon won majority by less than 500,000 votes. His victory was mainly due to his campaign directed at the silent majority, referring to middle and working classes.
In 1990, Jewish extremist Meir Kahane was shot dead in New York City. El Sayed Nassar was convicted of the murder. Kahane was an American-born rabbi who founded the Koch Party that advocated expelling all Arabs from Israel. Now we're going to 1991
in the Philippines.
12 seconds later.
In 1991, Tropical Storm Selma hit the Philippines, causing major flooding and killing nearly 3,000 people.
It was the second major disaster of the year in that country, after the eruption of Mount Pinatubo. It was determined that illegal logging was the cause of the severity of the damage.
It's cold and Philippines. We are a little jet lagged from our flight to and from the Philippines, so please excuse us.
In 2007, the East and West Writers Guilds of America went on strike in Los Angeles and New York. Television, radio, and film writers demanded a larger share of revenue and payment for shows distributed over the internet. The strike caused a loss of $3 billion for the film industry in Los Angeles alone.
In 2009, the worst mass murder at the U.S. military installation occurred at Fort Hood in Texas. An Army psychiatrist, Major Nidal Malik Hassan, opened fire on unarmed soldiers, killing 13 and injuring 30 before he was shot by police. He was later convicted of 45 counts of premeditated murder and attempted premeditated murder and was sentenced to death.
On that happy note, we'll finish off our show on November 5th.
Thank you for watching, and join us next time.